What's up, traders? This is Vee Trades, and today I'll be doing a technical analysis breakdown for MicroStrategy Incorporated with the ticker symbol MSTR. I will first be going over what I see in the daily chart and finish the video off with the weekly chart. This video is for entertainment purposes only. Please trade at your own risk. So make sure you guys subscribe to the channel below. Let's see if we can get to 20,000 subscribers by the end of January. I know we can do it. There's a lot of people who watch these videos that are not subscribed. That only helps you guys out by subscribing to the channel so you don't have to search for these videos and you will be notified when the video comes out so you can be more up to date. Because I do these videos daily and the prior day's MicroStrategy video is basically obsolete at that point. It's not even helpful. So you have to stay up to date on the current price action. So let's see if we can get to 20,000 subscribers by the end of the month. I know we can do it. So why am I doing a video today when the market is closed? The main reason is because I just miss MicroStrategy, such an amazing stock, and I'm kind of sad that it's not open today. So I just want to answer some questions that I normally get in my comment section, and then I'll just go over some long-term price targets that I don't cover as much on the regular market updates, which I'll cover, which I'll do another market update for tomorrow to end the week off. So some of the typical questions I get. Well, the first one I got yesterday was about this inverse head and shoulder that's forming right now. You can see that this is a head right over here, and on either side looks to be a shoulder. We have a shoulder right here and a possible shoulder right here. So we'll see if this one bounces up and validates that pattern, or we're just going to see price dump down lower and not even form a inverse head and shoulder. But is it setting up to be one? Yes, it is setting up to be one, but you have to take a look at everything else on the chart. You know, you can't just make your decision on one thing because an inverse head and shoulder doesn't always lead to higher prices. So how does that, actually play out in the market? Is because when you have a downtrend making lower lows and lower highs, you're going to see that eventually price is unable to make a new low. So it looks like there's a change in market structure. It looks like the pattern is reversing higher. It looks like the momentum has shifted. So that's when you get the inverse head and shoulder, when the shoulder is equal to the other shoulder, and that's when price can reverse higher. So that's what it means when we have an inverse head and shoulder. Are we going to get something like that where price is making lower lows, lower highs, and then we finally made a higher low for higher prices? Maybe, but it's unlikely. You have to look at the entire picture, and like I did before in my prior analysis, there's a lot more bearish signs on this chart than bullish, so I don't think this will play out. But it's definitely something to keep an eye on. But I don't look at patterns like that. I look at the buying and selling pressure. So there's still a strong amount of selling pressure in this market, and there's a good chance price is going to fall down lower. Even with Bitcoin dropping today, most likely, I believe my target is right around the $86,000 level. I'm looking for the mid 80s. And then maybe if it will find support and continue higher, but it's pulling back because it reached a long-term measure move target. So a decent sized correction is due. So once that is over, I believe MicroStrategy will also finally come to a bottom. Looks to be sometime like as before. That could be the 275 gap fill or the measure target right around the 230s, 240s. So again, that hopefully that answers your question of why of why did I not bring up the inverse head and shoulder, because it's not as strong as it could be in this context, but it is there on the chart. Now let's take a look at another question, which is analyzing MicroStrategy without analyzing Bitcoin is pointless. Well, that's a very common one. And Bitcoin and MicroStrategy are definitely highly correlated, or MicroStrategy is highly correlated with Bitcoin. But you have to analyze the chart you will make your decision on to avoid conflicting information. So what does that mean? Let's say Bitcoin continues to go up higher, but let's say MicroStrategy continues to go down lower. You're going to be confused. Because you're going to be thinking, why is it going up, Bitcoin, but why is MicroStrategy still going down? Why is it not correlated? So that's why you have to analyze the chart you're going to make your decisions on. Because let's say you're just going to buy Bitcoin. Because me personally, I'm very, very, very bullish on Bitcoin, and I believe it's going to continue much higher. And that's why I'm buying, and that's why I'm looking at MicroStrategy. But I would not buy MicroStrategy if it was in a bear market, because it's in a bear market. I don't care if Bitcoin's going up, because this is not going up at all. But since this was going up with Bitcoin, I'm like, okay, this is highly correlated, and it's still looking very good. So that's why I'm also buying MicroStrategy for the next 6 to 7 months. When it probably tops out, it crashes. I wouldn't want to hold this stock when it crashes probably about 70, 80%, maybe even more. So I'm pretty sure it will crash. But again, you have to look at the chart you're analyzing to make your decisions off of to be more accurate and you don't get conflicting information. Yes, it's highly correlated, but is it 100% correlated? No, it's not 100% correlated. Every day is not a red day for Bitcoin, a red day to MicroStrategy, or a green day for MicroStrategy, green day for Bitcoin. It doesn't work like that. And sometimes you're going to have different days. And even Bitcoin dropped more than MicroStrategy, I believe, yesterday. So again, you're not going to have the more volatility on MicroStrategy. Sometimes you might see it on Bitcoin. So it's not 100% correlated. So that's why I analyze MicroStrategy only. Now let's take a look at another request, another comment, which was about has MicroStrategy topped already? I don't think so. I'll go over some long-term targets and I'll go over the reasons why technically that is a very low probability and most likely we will continue higher. Is MicroStrategy going to top sooner than Bitcoin does, like it did last cycle? Because I believe MicroStrategy topped several months before Bitcoin topped. Is that going to happen again? Well, we only have one data point, so I mean, it's not a high probability of that occurring again. But it does make sense. It could because MicroStrategy is more volatile. So it's going to be more sensitive. It's kind of like a fine-tuned instrument. It's going to be more sensitive towards the price fluctuations and the volatility. So there is a possibility that, yes, it will probably blow off first because it's more volatile and more sensitive to price and just you could say buying and selling pressure, and then crash down lower. And then maybe Bitcoin does it slightly later because it's also a larger market cap. So there's a good chance that we do see something similar in terms of the cycle timing, but I don't think it's gonna be several months like it was last time. It'll probably be maybe within a couple of weeks, maybe a couple of months, but we'll see when price gets there. Now let's take a look at the long-term chart, the moment we've all been waiting for. Let's take a look at. So if you look at it on the weekly, which I will be doing also in the log scale, but if you look at the regular scale on the weekly, you don't really see this price action right over here. It just looks like a small little blip on the chart. So that's when you have to go to the log scale so it includes the price action right over here. Whenever a chart goes up, several hundred percentage points, you need to look at the log scale because if not, this just looks like a bubble when in reality, it's not really a bubble. Now let's take a look at the log scale. So if you look at the log scale, it just looks like a nice uptrend right over here that bottomed in December of 2022, January of 2023, and we've been making higher highs, higher lows ever since. So is MicroStrategy topped? Well, if you say MicroStrategy topped, that's like saying this was the top right over here. And look what happened after that. Price continued moving up higher. And this would have made more sense as being a top because it's closer to this prior high right over here. So why was this not the top? Is because the trend was still in play. The trend lines were not broken or invalidated, and the price continued higher. So if you're saying this is the top, then you're not paying attention to the trend lines. You can see that price is still above this trend line right here and still above this trend line right here. So we have two bullish trend lines in play. Also, we have targets, measure move targets at higher prices. The first one would be this one right over here. This is all one large leg. This is the second leg up, and this is targeting right around the $1,500 target level. So most likely we'll probably get there sometime by the end of the summer of this year, probably the mid-year, probably before that. Most likely when Bitcoin finally bottoms in this correction that is currently in the next couple of weeks, there's a good chance price will rally higher, take out the prior high. MicroStrategy most likely follow as well, and it'll continue rallying up to the 600s, 700s, 800s, into the 4 digits, and eventually the mid $1,500 target. And then we'll probably see a bigger correction from there, maybe like another 40% drop. And then I'm expecting another larger target of $4,000. And where did I get that target from? A measure move target of this magnitude right here. This is all one large impulse up. And then we saw, and this could be the second large impulse up at $4,000. Now, that doesn't account for stock splits. Obviously, if we have a stock split, it'll bring the target down. If we do a 10-to-1 stock split, then it'll just be a $400 target. So the price doesn't really matter. Think of it as the market cap. Whatever it would be to about $4,000. That's more than a 10x from here. So that would be about a $1 trillion market cap for MicroStrategy. Can that happen? I believe so. Does it make sense to have a $1 trillion market cap? That doesn't matter, right? The market can always sometimes be irrational, right? Why do you think these bubbles form? Just like a GameStop, right? Why did that even go up? I mean, fundamentally, it's a company that's losing money, right? But again, the market could be irrational, and sometimes where it should stop, at a rational level, it can overshoot that by 2, 3, 4 times magnitude, and then eventually come back down. So again, just because I'm saying it's going to go to $1 trillion market cap doesn't mean it's going to stay there for a long time. That might be the top at the most, and then we're going to see a huge crash down. So just because we can get there doesn't mean it's a rational level or a actual fundamental level that it should be trading at. It doesn't matter. I'm just saying that price can get so extreme that people don't even realize what's happening, and then that could be the most extreme point before price collapses lower. So right around the $4,000 level in this cycle as of right now. I'm looking for the $1,500 target first, and then we'll see what happens, and then the $4,000 target after that. Again, we'll see what happens. That is the target, maybe next cycle, but it looks like it could be possibly this cycle as well. So again, long term, the trend is still up. It's not invalidated. It's not showing any topping signs. And we have the trend lines in play. We have the measurement targets in play. It's not really showing any topping signs as of right now. For a trend to top, you want to see a couple of signs. The first one being a blow off top, something like this, and then pricing collapse lower, or price struggling to continue higher. That would show some sort of weakness that price can roll over at. We're not seeing any of that right now. There's a good chance this is just a pullback, and most likely the trend will resume higher. So that's all I have for MicroStrategy and the daily weekly charts. I want to show you guys, a more in-depth long-term analysis and where I'm getting it from. I'm not just making it up. I'm using technical tools to find these targets, and I use the same tools for any other chart I look at. So it's not just strictly tied to MicroStrategy. It's the same tools, same analysis I would do for any company. Bringing it over to MicroStrategy, and this looks like it's still going to continue down lower. Most likely, we're going to open lower tomorrow before Bitcoin bottoms, unless Bitcoin collapses to 86,000 today, and then it rallies strongly, closing back above the 90s. Then we're probably not going to see that on the chart from MicroStrategy. But again, if Bitcoin continues trending down lower and it stays low, there's a good chance MicroStrategy will also follow as well. So all I have for MicroStrategy and daily weekly charts today. Most likely, I'll give you guys an update tomorrow. This is Vee Trades, and thank you for your time.